Dana White has just revealed even more exciting details about the UFC's massive new deal with Paramount, and his vision for the future sounds like something straight out of a sports history book. In a recent interview, Dana was asked about how much the UFC will actually be featured on CBS linear television, where the whole country could watch without needing cable or streaming subscriptions. His response made it crystal clear that the UFC is about to enter a new era of mainstream visibility. According to Dana, the plan is to host 4 major UFC events every single year on CBS. These wouldn't just be ordinary fight nights. They would be huge, stacked cards designed to draw massive nationwide audiences. The move is a bold step toward putting MMA on the same stage as the biggest sports in the world, and it could expose millions of new fans to the UFC's top fighters. But the CBS deal wasn't the only jaw-dropping news Dana had in store. In a moment that instantly grabbed headlines, he dropped a bombshell about a potential fight location that could go down as one of the most iconic in sports history. He revealed that he's currently in talks to make a massive UFC event happen right on the lawn of the White House. The idea is to host the card outdoors under the open sky on the 4th of July, and not just any 4th of July, but the celebration of America's 250th anniversary. Imagine it, a historic UFC card on the grounds of the White House with the Capitol skyline in the background, fireworks lighting up the night, and millions of viewers watching live on CBS. The symbolism of such an event, merging America's independence celebration with one of the fastest growing sports in the world, could make it one of the most talked about moments in UFC history. When asked if this massive new deal with Paramount and CBS could help bring back some of the sport's biggest stars, names like Conor McGregor and Jon Jones, Dana didn't hesitate for even a second. "Absolutely," he said, making it clear that he's always looking to deliver the biggest and best fights possible. His philosophy hasn't changed. The UFC has no off-season. It runs every single Saturday all year long, and his mission is to keep fans excited with cards that are stacked from the very first prelim to the main event. Dana emphasized that the CBS partnership gives the UFC a bigger platform than ever before. It's not just about hardcore fight fans anymore, it's about reaching casual viewers, families, and people who might never have watched MMA before. With this kind of exposure, fighters could become bigger household names, and the sport as a whole could continue to grow at a rapid pace. If even half of what Dana is planning comes to life, 4 blockbuster CBS cards a year, possible White House lawn fights, and the return of massive superstars, the next few years could mark a golden era for the UFC. Fans around the world now have one more reason to keep their eyes glued to the octagon. Before moving to the next news, we have one quick request for you. We're constantly working on improving our content to earn your love and support. That's why we truly appreciate it if you could take just a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Moving on to another major headline in the MMA world, Sean O'Malley has stepped into the conversation with a bold and confident prediction about Khamzat Chimaev's upcoming fight against Dricus du Plessis. O'Malley, never one to shy away from making strong statements, sat alongside his coach Tim Welch on their podcast and broke down why he believes Khamzat will have little to no trouble taking Dricus down, and not just at any point in the fight, but right in the very first round. According to O'Malley, the reasoning is simple. He sees a glaring hole in Dricus's wrestling defense, one that has been there for years and in his opinion hasn't been tested enough against a dominant grappler like Khamzat. To illustrate his point, O'Malley went back to December 2022, when Dricus fought Darren Till at UFC 222. Till, known primarily as a striker rather than a wrestler, surprisingly managed to take Dricus down in the first round. While Dricus would recover, rally back, and ultimately submit Till in the third round, O'Malley believes those early moments revealed a clear vulnerability. O'Malley recalled that fight in detail, almost mocking the timeline at first. "Yes, it was a while ago," he said, "but guys like Darren Till were taking him down. What year was that? 5 years ago. 6 years ago, maybe." Then with a laugh he corrected himself. It was only in 2022, just a couple of years ago. The fact that it wasn't that long ago only strengthened his point. He even joked about Dricus's physical build, pointing out his thick neck and huge traps. but shrugged that off, insisting that none of that would matter against Khamzat's relentless grappling pressure. In O'Malley's words, Khamzat would take him down in the first round of 110% and maybe even in the first 15 milliseconds. O'Malley then went a step further, questioning whether Dricus would be able to defend his neck at all once Khamzat got his hands locked around him. If Khamzat managed to slide an arm under Dricus's chin, O'Malley predicted the fight could be over in seconds. But O'Malley's breakdown didn't stop there. He also referenced Khamzat's fight against Kamaru Usman in October 2023. That matchup, which was fought over 3 rounds, saw Khamzat dominate early but begin to slow down noticeably in the later stages. O'Malley suggested that if the fight had been a 5-round bout, Usman's championship-level conditioning and ability to push deep in the fights might have led to a different outcome. In his eyes, that fight revealed Khamzat's incredible explosiveness early on, but also hinted at possible cardio issues if pushed into the championship rounds. This leaves O'Malley in a conflicted spot. As a fight fan, he admits that part of him wants Dricus to pull off the upset. There's something appealing about the reigning champion retaining his belt against the hype train, but when it comes to pure entertainment value, O'Malley can't help but root for Khamzat. The Chechen-born star brings chaos, star power, and an unpredictable edge to every fight he's in. The problem, O'Malley added with a note of frustration, is that if Khamzat does win the belt, there's no telling when he'll fight again. Khamzat's career has been marked by long layoffs, cancelled fights, and periods of inactivity. For O'Malley, the worst-case scenario would be a dominant win followed by another year-long absence, something that would stall the division and leave fans waiting yet again for the next big showdown. The ongoing saga between Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones has just taken another dramatic twist, and this time it's Tom himself who has decisively slammed the door shut on the speculation. For months, fans and MMA pundits have been buzzing about the possibility of a blockbuster heavyweight showdown between the two, especially with the recent excitement surrounding the UFC's newly teased White House card. The idea of these two elite fighters colliding under the bright lights seemed like the kind of fight that could capture the imagination of the entire sports world. But according to Tom, it's simply not on his radar, not now and maybe not ever. The reigning heavyweight champion has made it clear that he has only one focus at the moment, defending his title against Cyril Gane at UFC 321, scheduled for October 25th. That bout alone is a massive test, with Gane's striking and movement posing a serious challenge to any heavyweight on the planet. When Tom appeared on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, the conversation inevitably turned to Jon Jones. Helwani asked him whether he had been thinking about that matchup at all, especially with fans constantly calling for it on social media. Tom's answer was blunt, almost to the point of being dismissive. "Do you want me to be honest?" he said without hesitation. "It has spent 0 seconds in my mind. That's it. Not interested, mate. Not interested." The world shouldn't be interested either, because what's the point? Just false hope. It wasn't just a casual "not now," it was a hard stop. Aspinall's tone suggested that the constant chatter about a fight with Jones is not only unrealistic but a distraction from the battles that actually lie ahead. By saying the world shouldn't be interested, Tom was sending a message not just to fans but perhaps to the UFC as well. Stop dangling fights that aren't going to happen anytime soon. From Tom's perspective, there's no point in selling the public a dream fight when so many factors, timing, health, contracts, make it nearly impossible to deliver in the immediate future. Jon Jones, after all, has been sidelined due to injury and has not set a concrete return date. Plus, the UFC heavyweight division is already stacked with contenders who are active, healthy, and ready to fight right now. This isn't the first time Aspinall has downplayed the Jones matchup, but his latest comments leave little room for interpretation. He's fully invested in his upcoming title defense against Gane, and doesn't want any distractions clouding his preparation. For now, the idea of Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones remains in the realm of fantasy, a what-if scenario that MMA fans love to dream about but may have to keep on hold for the foreseeable future. If there's one thing Tom made clear, it's that his eyes are locked on UFC 31, and nothing, not even the allure of a fight with one of the greatest of all time, will pull his attention away. Meanwhile, Charles Oliveira is heading into his next challenge with a completely renewed fire and determination. The Brazilian star, known worldwide for his relentless fighting style, world-class grappling, and unmatched finishing ability, is coming off one of the toughest and most shocking moments of his entire career, a knockout loss to Ilia Topuria. This was not just any defeat, it was the first knockout loss of Oliveira's professional MMA career, something that caught both fans and analysts completely off guard. For a fighter who has been through absolute wars inside the octagon, absorbing bombs from some of the hardest hitters in the sport, surviving deep submission attempts, and finding ways to come back to win in spectacular, highlight reel fashion, the idea of Oliveira being stopped like that felt almost unreal. But as Charles himself admits, life is full of firsts, and unfortunately this was one of them. In an interview with AG Fight, Oliveira opened up about the emotional toll of that night. He didn't hide behind excuses, blame an injury, or try to downplay what happened. Instead, he spoke from the heart with raw honesty. "I've never been knocked out in my life. Everything in life has a first time. Unfortunately, mine arrived. I was knocked out by a tough guy. I went home sad, crying, angry. But now, truly, I'm more than ready. Listen carefully to what I'm going to tell you. A wounded lion is still a lion, and on October 11th, I'll show you all that my story isn't over. I'm more than alive, more than ready." Those words paint the image of a man who has not only recovered physically but has taken the sting of defeat and forged it into a burning motivation to rise again. Fighters often throw around the phrase "coming back stronger" as a way to sell their comeback stories, but for Oliveira it's clear this is more than a slogan, it's a mission statement. His next test will be against the dangerous Rafael Fiziev at UFC Rio. Fiziev is a striker of the highest caliber with elite technique, lightning speed, and fight-ending knockout power. For Oliveira, this is no easy rebound fight. He's walking right back into the fire, facing another opponent who has all the tools to end a fight in devastating fashion. But if history has shown us anything, it's that Oliveira thrives when the odds are against him. For Do Bronx, this fight is about far more than just adding another win to his record. It's about reclaiming his identity as one of the most feared and respected fighters in the lightweight division. It's about sending a message to the MMA world that one bad night does not define a champion's career, and that true warriors don't stay down, they rise, they fight, and they remind the world exactly who they are. When the cage door closes in Rio on October 11th, fans won't just be watching a fight, they'll be witnessing the return of a man who has already touched rock bottom, felt the bitter taste of defeat, and now comes back armed with the heart of a lion, ready to roar louder, fight harder, and prove that his story is far from over. And finally, Arman Tsarukyan is showing no signs of letting up in his pursuit of Ilia Topuria. For weeks, the lightweight contender has been on a mission to provoke the featherweight champion, using every tool at his disposal to keep the conversation alive about a potential clash. From interviews to quick jabs online, Arman has made it clear he wants that fight and he's not afraid to ruffle feathers to get it. His latest move came in the form of a cheeky Instagram post that quickly went viral among MMA fans. In the video, Arman is seen patting his dog on the head, smiling as he repeats, good boy, better than Ilia." The implication was crystal clear. Not only is Arman questioning Ilia's composure, but he's also turning it into a light-hearted roast that's sure to irritate the champ. While some might see it as playful banter, in the fight game, this is the kind of needling that can turn into genuine bad blood. For Arman, it's a strategic move. In a division stacked with contenders, staying relevant and keeping your name in the headlines can make all the difference. Every post, every soundbite, every dig is another step toward forcing the UFC and Ilia himself to acknowledge the call-out. Whether Ilia takes the bait or not, Arman is making sure fans are picturing the matchup. Meanwhile, the UFC landscape is absolutely buzzing with stories that could reshape the sport's immediate future. Just recently, Dana White announced a historic new partnership with Paramount and CBS, a deal that could open the door for massive, never-before-seen events, including the almost unthinkable idea of a fight night at the White House. The UFC has always been about spectacle, but this new era could push that to unprecedented levels. In the middleweight division, Sean O'Malley, never one to shy away from bold statements, has been stirring the pot with confident predictions about Khamzat Chimaev's wrestling dominance over Dricus du Plessis. O'Malley's words, as usual, have sparked plenty of debate among fighters and fans alike. Tom Aspinall, on the other hand, is taking a different approach. The heavyweight champion is laser-focused on his upcoming title defense, refusing to get distracted by speculation about a potential clash with Jon Jones. Aspinall has made it clear that his only concern is the man directly in front of him. Everything else can wait. And then there's Charles Oliveira, still one of the sport's most beloved and dangerous competitors. Coming off the first knockout loss of his career, Charles has vowed to come back stronger than ever as he prepares for Rafael Fiziev at UFC Rio. His fighting spirit paired with Arman's relentless trolling of Ilia adds even more intrigue to an already explosive fight calendar. One thing's for sure, with massive network deals, unforgettable personalities, and high-stakes matchups on the horizon, the UFC is entering a chapter where the fights themselves might only be half the story. The rest, it's all the drama, mind games, and spectacle that make MMA unlike anything else in sports.